Welcome to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. If you happen to find mold in your space, make sure you take care of it right away before it takes care of you. Watch how we do that in this video. See you right after this. Okay, so I discovered to my dismay some mold on this wall inside my space. And I would not have known that mold was there if I hadn't moved a piece of furniture that I had in front of this portion of the wall. So what do we do about it, guys? Mold is not a good thing. It can be very dangerous and it's not harmless. Mold releases mold spores into the air that you can't see, and they can cause allergies and all types of sicknesses. So what do you do to get rid of mold when you see it inside your home or outside your home? Does not matter. Identify the source of the mold and do something about it. Now, in a previous video, I showed you guys how to use one of these. This is a moisture meter. Moisture meters don't necessarily detect mold itself, but it detects the precursor to mold, and that's moisture. Moisture meters are simple to use. You have a power button, that's this right here. So you turn it on. Then you have a mode button and a hold button. Now, if you press the mode button, it's going to toggle between different surfaces. Right now, it has masonry on the top there. That's if you're going to test the moisture content on masonry or brick. And then if you press it again, you have hardwood. That's if you're going to test it on hardwood floors like I did in the previous video on this topic. Then that's for softwood. And then you have drywall, which is what we're going to use it on today. Once again, when you're dealing with mold, you want to make sure that you have your safety gloves on so that stuff won't get into your skin. Make sure you got your mask on so you don't breathe those spores into your lungs. And don't forget to protect your eyes as well when you're dealing with mold. Now, this is one type of moisture meter. It's a pinless moisture meter, meaning that it doesn't use pins that you have to stick into a surface to get the reading. You can see how that kind of moisture meter works in the last video on this topic. So with the pinless moisture meter, you just have to scan the surface of it and get a reading. If you notice on the dry parts, the moisture content is not as much. The percentages are lower on the dry parts, which makes sense. And if you put it on the moldy parts, the percentages go a little higher in moisture. You got 10, 11% there. Down there, you got about 12% there where it's really moldy. 11% over here. And 9%. And if you want to lock in that percentage, just press that hold button and it'll lock it in. Now on that last pass at the bottom there, where it's very moldy and very dark, we locked it in at 17.6%. But if you notice, there's a scale on the bottom here. It says dry, and it goes all the way to wet. That green light right next to dry means that it's relatively dry. And if we look at this chart, it tells you what percentages constitute dry, which is green, medium, which is yellow, and wet, which is red. And it gives you these percentages for each surface or substrate. Now, our readings so far fall into the dry category. The green LED light represents the least wet material. So based on these readings so far, everything's in the green. So we may not be too far gone when it comes to this situation. In other words, we may not have to replace the drywall. Maybe we just need to clean it. But it's always safer to get a professional opinion on whether you need to go in and see what the extent of the mold infestation is. That's what you would call an invasive procedure. Right now, we're just going to do a non-invasive procedure by taking the readings and cleaning it up. So when it comes to cleaning your mold up, you can use a few solutions. One of them is bleach. 1 part bleach, 3 parts water. Or you can use vinegar. Or you can use a dedicated mold remover. Right here, I have some vinegar and I have a spray bottle. So I'm going to pour some of this vinegar into the spray bottle, and then I'll apply it to the surface here. Now, if your mold area is less than 10 square feet, you probably can handle it yourself. Anything more than that, I would call a professional. All right, so we're just gonna let that solution permeate the mold for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna come back with a brush and scrub it down. In the meantime, let's see if we can figure out why the mold's there in the first place. Okay, so we got a window right there, and the mold is to the right of the window. All right, so let's go outside and see what's happening out there that could be causing water to leak into the foundation or the walls. Okay, so there's the window. And we have this gutter drain right here. And that's exactly where the mold would be on the inside, right in this area right here. So somehow water might be leaking into the foundation down here and causing mold to form inside the walls. It's a possibility. All right, guys, when you're scrubbing your wall down to get the mold out, some of the paint may come off or peel off. That's okay. That's old paint. It's going to come off anyway. You can always repaint your wall, but you definitely want to get rid of your mold. Then you want to rinse it down with some clean water. Then you want to let it air dry, or you can put a fan on it to dry it off. Okay, so the wall's dry enough, so we're going to paint it. But you may want to add some mildew treatment in your paint just to give it that extra protection.